Hello guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to the Free Hammers. It's Luke here with Paul. Another horror show after such a positive result in the week. Yeah, there's loads to talk about. How long's Moyes got left? How much power has Tim Steeden got now? There's loads of rumours that he's got more power. Paul's got a little bit about Tony Carr. Yeah, we'll be back straight off.
Hello.
People love it when I do that. Sorry. Mate, I can't do it anymore. I can't. I thought after the Arsenal game, and it was such a good result, the Arsenal game. Just we'll touch on it because this is going to be quite a negative show. The Arsenal game was fantastic, really good performance, good lineup. I enjoyed the game. Great to get through. But yeah, yesterday was a horror show. Was we playing any centre midfielders yesterday, mate? Because I think me and you could sit before the game that, I've got some sympathy with Moyes. He had no Alvarez, he had no Paquetá, but come on, we knew what was going to happen. Frank would have known what was going to happen. Go on, mate, go on.
I mean, do you know what, mate? It's a weird one because, and I said this to you yesterday after the game. And Moyes is coming for a lot of criticism for yesterday. Everyone knows if you watch this show regularly, I'm not a fan of David Moyes. Don't like him. I don't like his football. Can't stand the way he plays. I want to see him go. I want to see a new manager come in. But I find it difficult to really blame him for yesterday. I do, because when the lineup came out, look at the lineup, and you think, all right, there was nothing else really could have done. I think any one of us could have predicted that lineup. It was pretty obvious who was going to have to play with Paquetá and Alvarez being out, being suspended. And then when the game started and we're lining up in a 4-4-2, I'm thinking, all right, we're trying something different. You can't say for once about David Moyes we were negative and we were just trying to not lose the game.
I agree. There's patches in the first half that we were really good.
And if it weren't for Antonio being completely brain dead, we would have been going in at half-time 3-1 up. So I'm not Moyes' biggest fan at all, but I find it difficult to really blame him for yesterday. I personally don't really know what else he could have done. And the substitutions he made, I think, were the right substitutions. He made them at a decent time.
Danny Ings.
In a 2 up front.
Well, you put Mabama up there.
No, but bearing in mind, right, we're playing 2 up front for the first time whenever. If there's ever a time to use Danny Ings, it's in a 2 up front. So I don't.
He's terrible, though.
He is terrible, but I don't blame Moyes for trying it. Do you know what I mean? If he's ever going to work, it's going to be in a 2 up top. So I don't blame Moyes for bringing Ings on up front. I think Fornals coming on for Benrahma was the right decision to double up on, what's his name? With Buemo, what's his name?
Buemo. Yeah, Wisso and then Buemo, yeah.
Buemo, I don't blame him for bringing Fornals on. I think that was the right decision to double up on him because obviously Emerson was on a card and we were getting rinsed down that side. So, again, I think this, and he didn't wait too long to make the subs. I don't think they were bad substitutions. And yeah, 100% we got overrun in midfield. And you could say, well, should he have changed the formation? But who was there to come on?
I would have put Fornals at 10 and maybe bring on Cornet on the left when we were chasing the game, and Mabama for Ings. I think, again, I'm not a manager, but that's what I would have done. Look,
but I mean, it is. I think the first half I don't think was bad at all. Like I say, we should have gone in 3-1. The only thing I didn't like about the first half was it was like 7 minutes of injury time, and I think for the last 5 minutes of that, we they had 3 or 4 really good chances, and they probably should have scored.
So the first goal came from them, absolute banker, mate. I put it in the chat for you. Do you know who his last goal was against as well? 45 games ago.
Yeah, it was against us. Yeah. It was. You said it before the game, mate. Written, absolute banker.
Yeah. I can't remember how the goal actually came. Was it a mix-up at the back? I can't remember. When Agurdi turned into Issa Agurdi again, like sort of had a little wobble. I can't bloody remember. Anyway, 1-0 down. I will give credit. We showed some character to get back into the game. Mate, talk me through that goal, mate. I've done it in my review. Talk me through that goal. What a goal! The fact
fantastic.
it's going to be forgotten now, but
yeah, fantastic, unbelievable goal. It's weird. I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, what a ball from Antonio!" It weren't. It was a terrible ball from Antonio. That's why he had to do it. It was behind him. That's why the goal was such a worldly. But yeah, the ball come across. What a finish! What a finish! And he looks like he's arrived. I said that to you yesterday, didn't I?
Well, the goal against Arsenal was beautiful as well, wasn't it? Like two really beautiful goals there.
Really, the Arsenal goal, lovely couple of touches, slotted it into the corner, and this one was just fantastic. Absolute goal of the month contender. Wonderful technique, brilliant. And I think he actually looked really good yesterday.
No, he did. He did. He was brilliant against Arsenal. Brilliant yesterday. And the second goal scorer, Antonio, again, that sort of came from Kudus coming down the side. Didn't he hit the post? It fell into Bowen's feet.
Yeah, absolutely. So by all rights, he could have had 2 goals there pretty easily. Unlucky, like you say, hit the post. Fortunate with a rebound. But yeah, fantastic and great to see. And the question now is going to be, when everyone's back, where does Moyes fit him in? I think that's the question now. When Alvarez and Paqueta are back in the side,
I think you have to play the Arsenal team, mate. The team that played against Arsenal is that for me is the starting lineup now. With Kudus on the right, Bowen up front. Benny, I don't think Benny had a bad game yesterday. I thought he didn't do too bad yesterday. I think that's the starting lineup. What about that chance, mate? Talk me through it. What sort of language?
I mean,
it's coming out of your mouth at that point.
That
was horrific.
Unbelievable, absolutely insane. And I see a lot of people have already said it. In the same game, there was an absolute chance for goal of the season and miss of the season at the same time. I don't know. I mean, I do know what Antonio was doing. He was just complete brain dead, not thinking what he was doing, steamed in. I mean, if he was a natural striker, he would have been in a better position in the box earlier, and he would have already been there for a tap in, but he weren't. And it was a tap in for Benrahma. Literally, it was an open goal. If the ball had run across to Benrahma, taps it in, open goal, and we're 3-1 up. But he comes steaming in directly in front of him, almost barges him out of the way, and toes it wide. Benrahma, if Benrahma's reaction said it all. Benrahma's reaction absolutely said it all. If that was me on the pitch, I would have gone absolutely mental at him. I bet he got absolute earful at half time. I don't know, so greedy, so stupid, brain dead. And if you're gonna do it, you've got to score. If you're going to come flying in and push your teammate out of the way, you've got to score.
You've got to score, mate. You've got to score.
Horrific.
Like I think that was a key turning point in the game.
Yeah,
after that, the own goal from Mavropanos. Again, you said it at the time. Would Zuma have done that?
I don't think so. No,
not.
I don't think so.
Would you make of Mav? I thought he was really good against Arsenal. I think he's just slightly nervous. He's not a bad player. He is a good defender.
I think the problem is, I liked him. I think he played quite well. But yeah, I did say that. I don't think, heading it back into his own net, that wouldn't have happened. Zuma wouldn't have done that. That wouldn't have happened. But I do think he's good. I think he's good bringing the ball out of defence. I think he's he likes to play out of defence. I think the problem is you need a balance. If you're good, you need one ball playing defender, and then you need that everything, throw it on the line defender as well.
Style,
and with Agurd and Mavropanos, they're both that ball playing defender. There's not really a good balance there. I don't think. I think you need one of each.
Yeah.
And I mean, Zuma's not really that gung-ho defender either, but he's more of it than they are. He's not a ball-playing defender. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know how long we've got left with Zuma, though. Like I say, Zuma is injured, apparently, and it's, there's loads of rumours of Saudi and stuff like that. So I do think we may be even in January, we might be in for a centre half and a striker. Let's hope so. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Their last goal came from a cross. They was just banging him crossing all day long. They were killing us, absolute killing us. You've said it before, mate. If there's only one criticism that I do have of Areola, is that he doesn't come for crosses, does he? Like probably incredible shot stopper, but yeah, that's his weakness, though.
Two, just to chuck in 2 Save of the Month nominations. He's in it twice this month.
Yeah,
Areola. But yeah, and just poor and based on the second half performance, we didn't deserve anything more. We didn't.
No,
I don't think. It's worth saying as well. They subbed their goalkeeper at half time. Flecken, is it Flecken? He went off injured.
Yeah, Flecken.
He went off injured. They subbed their goalkeeper at half time. They had a second string goalkeeper on, and he didn't make a single save. Didn't make a single save.
The only other shot I remember is 4 nails over the bar. That's the only other shot I remember in the second half. Apart from that, we were bloody awful, absolutely awful.
Yeah, I mean that was poor. That was poor. If they're subbing their keeper at half time, you got to test them, and we absolutely didn't. We did nothing that second half, and I defended Moyes a little bit at the start of this video, and I genuinely I don't blame him for the lineup because I don't think he could have done anything else. I don't really blame him. I think the first half was decent, but I did see that his post-match interview, he said that at half time he told the players don't concede. And that's the problem. That's the problem. It's that defensive first mentality. You can't just try and sit on a lead in the Premier League. You can't do it. Not unless
that's too good, mate.
Yeah, not unless you are.
Moyes was absolutely destroying us, mate. That's when they're capable of doing something like out of nothing, and that's what happened in the end. Just quickly on any players, mate. Anyone who let's do positives first. So any players that have some credit in the bank from yesterday from you.
Kudus obviously had a great game. Bowen had a great game again. Really good game. Like you say, unfortunately, the midfield 2 were completely anonymous. Souček and Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse has kind of fell off a cliff.
Is he
last couple of games?
Is he what they're saying, mate? And I know you used to defend him, but is he Mark Noble with a set piece?
Yeah,
basically at the moment. Yeah,
pretty much.
And he's been good recently.
No, but he don't even have that.
He ain't got the desire of Mark.
Yeah, he hasn't got that presence on the pitch that Mark had. But those two in the middle, nothing. They might as well have not been there. But it didn't help that we were completely bypassing the midfield. We never once tried to play through the midfield. We never tried to play through him. Like Ward-Prowse is sitting there. We never tried to play through him. We were just bypassing over the top, hitting long balls for Antonio and Bowen to run onto. I think Emerson had a pretty good game. It's a shame he got booked early because it meant he couldn't really tackle for the rest of the game. I thought Soufal was awful yesterday. The amount of times he gave the ball away was unbelievable.
Let's go to awfuls then. Let's go on to awfuls. Souček, what do you do? What do you do? You're meant to, if you can't pass the ball, you're meant to block the ball. You didn't do that. You don't score.
Yeah, poor Antonio.
I don't ever want to see in a West Ham shirt, and that's him and Antonio again.
Yeah, Antonio. I can't and someone's already said it in the comments. He'll start again the next game. He will.
Yeah,
he will.
No, he will.
But
of course he will.
He's awful, and yeah. Like I say, you can say, but he made the goal for Kudus, but it wasn't even a good cross.
No.
Awful. And that the thing with Benrahma, the mix up there.
Do you think because someone made a really good point the other day, do you think there's too much sentimental thing with Antonio now? People are still acting like this is 3 years ago, Antonio. When he was a battering ram and he had that season when he scored 15 goals and he broke the record. Mate, he's not that player anymore. He's not. And he's not going to ever get back to that player again. I'm sorry, he's not.
No. I think the problem is, mate, in David Moyes' mind, the only alternative is Danny Ings. And I know loads of people have said it in the comments. Listen, we've been saying it on here for weeks. What about Mubama? When's he going to play? He's not.
Well, you got Callum Marshall. But young
Now,
Callum Marshall as well was absolutely killing it for the under 21s.
now that it's come out that Mubama has refused to sign a contract, I think he's done. I think that's it.
What do you
I
make
think
on that? What do you make on that, mate? I can't blame him.
who can blame him? Who can
Can't
blame
blame
him?
him, boy.
Who can blame him? He's not playing. Apparently, we blocked a loan move for him in the summer. Apparently, he had a loan move lined up in the summer that we blocked. And if you're not going to send him out on loan, this kid wants to play. He wants to play football. And if you're not going to let him go out on loan and play, you have to play him in the team. And I've said, listen, let me say this. Sorry, I've said this many, many, many times here. I do not think Mubama is ready for the Premier League.
No,
I don't think
not
he's
to
going to come in
not to
and
start.
tear it up. But Jesus, you've got to give him a chance. He can't be any worse than Antonio Ings. He can't be.
Yeah, and by chance, I said it this morning, mate. By chance, I'm talking 20 minutes in games, not 4 minutes. Give him 20 minutes, like against these teams. He's something new. He's he's not a player that they know about, and sometimes that's when you get a little surprise package.
Yeah, and no, it's poor, but I think we're going to see an Ashby situation where he's refusing. He won't sign a contract unless he plays, and I think that'll be him. I think they'll freeze him out. I do. I think they'll be that.
It's
That'll
such
be
a
that.
shame because I think he is a West Ham fan as well, Mubama, and I think when he scored them goals in Europe, like it was just so refreshing. And in pre-season, he was so good. And I don't know, mate. Like you say, mate, what does he have to do? Or because Danny Ings and Mikel Antonio can't play any worse. They can't. They can't play any worse.
No, I agree, mate.
Antonio as well, mate. You might have noticed it in the Arsenal game. In the Arsenal game, when it was Benrahma, Bowen, Kudus, the pressing was unreal. All three of them pressing at the same time, putting pressure on Ramsdale. What did Antonio do yesterday? Mate, there was time he was just literally sitting in the middle circle, just walking. Press. He don't do anything. He don't. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't like him. I don't like him anymore.
No, it's interesting that you mentioned Marshall as well. I see he's nominated for the second month in a row for the PL2 Player of the Month. To be fair, I watched a couple of his goals, and he's a long way off Premier League. He does look good.
Yeah, but he's still a little bit. Yeah, I know.
He's a long way off. Like if you look at the goals that he's scoring, he don't score those goals in the Premier League. No way. The difference in quality, the step up, and the time and space you get. I think he's a fantastic prospect, and he's 100% one to watch. But there's no way he's ready to come into the first team. No way.
Michael P. says he's heard that Maguire is after 25 grand a week. That's the stumbling block. I don't see anything wrong with putting him on 25 grand a week. I
Absolutely
really don't.
not. No,
I don't see anything wrong with that. That's all. Just quickly on Kudus, mate. Some people have been saying it in the chat. So, mate, if we don't get Europe next year, I think he's gone. We was all worried about Jared Bowen leaving, mate. If this geezer carries on the way he's playing, mate, he's going to be replacing Mo Salah.
Yeah, Kudus and Paqueta, obviously. I think it all it depends on what happens this season, where we end up finishing. I don't think we've got any chance to finish. I've said this before. I don't think we've got any chance of finishing in the top 8 this season. But I don't think we've got. I don't think we've got any chance of getting relegated either.
Not if he stays. If he stays 10th, 12th.
Yeah,
that sort of era.
Yeah, I'd say between 10th and 14th at the best.
And that's not good enough. 400 million.
No, it's not. And I'll be very. I don't think we're good enough at the minute to win the Europa League either.
Oh,
so
God, no. God.
I don't think European football at this moment in time. European football next year is not looking likely. If we don't qualify for Europe next year, it all depends on what happens
with the manager.
I don't think that, unless we do end up winning the Europa League, Moyes is gone at the end of the season.
Yeah, just a quick one here. Would Cotty have gotten a game at 16 years old under David Moyes? No, because he was a fox in the box and couldn't run the line like Antonio does. We will become a feeder club in the next few years. We will if we don't carry on. If we carry on the way we are. Mark English says 13th, 15th. I reckon we need to act now. Right, let's move on to that then. So David Moyes, mate. The famous things come out now that 6 games. Well, that's 3. That's free because they're not including cup games apparently this time. They are or European games. The problem is, mate, like I say, it's Nottingham Forest this week. Probably will beat them, or if we don't, we'll beat Burnley. And then what is that? Is he allowed to keep doing that? 4 losses, then a win. 4 losses, then a draw, and then it's okay. He didn't ever go 6 in a row losses. There's loads of rumours that Tim Steeden now or Steiden, however you pronounce it, has got all the power now. You know, that Sullivan has proper placed him at number 2 and he has all to say. How long's he got, mate? Do you see any way of him getting sacked?
Only if we do go on some crazy run and we lose like 6, 7, 8 games in a row, then he'll go. I think they'll do everything they can not to sack him. Like I say, I don't think there's any chance of us getting relegated this year. I think the teams at the bottom are so bad, we won't go down, and I think that's what Sullivan will be looking at.
Sorry, that's 4 Prem defeats. Sorry, not 3.
Yeah, I think Sullivan's going to be looking at that and thinking, nah, you know, we're not going to go down. I don't want to pay him off. He goes for free in the summer. I think that's what will happen. Unless we do, I mean, and it is possible. Like I say, that's four defeats from the last 6. One games. draw. We only beat Luton in that time. So, and I mean,
Forest ain't going to be easy.
Forest won't be easy. You know, Palace, Tottenham, forget about it. Fulham, tough game. You know, it's not, none of those games are bankers.
And I would put money on Burnley to get their first Premier League win against us, mate. You'd put money on it. You would, because it's us. It's us. What do you make of this Steedham thing then? So apparently he's been given all the power. Do you think that could be a way out? The fact that the transfer window's slowly approaching, and you know, if Steedham identifies these targets again, like, oh yeah, look, here's a striker, he is going to work in this system, and then Moyes keeps going, no. Do you think David Sullivan may go then? Oh, actually, Dave, you're being a bit of a prat, and it's time to go, mate.
Maybe. Yeah. You know, they had the opportunities, and obviously we ended up winning a trophy, but they had the opportunities to sack him last season. They didn't do it.
But is it a different dynamic now? That's what I'm saying with Steedham there,
who,
by all accounts, you know, has been really credited highly now because of the success of a Kudus and Alvarez, and I don't think Alvarez was his signing, but and Dinos as well. Do you think, yeah, maybe it could be like, well, actually, this guy knows exactly what he's talking about?
I mean, I hope so. I'd like to think. Yeah, I hope so. I hope there's a dynamic change. I don't know, mate. I just don't see anything happening until the summer. I don't really see anything happening until the summer.
Yeah, no, I'd love him to be gone. I would love him to be gone. The only other thing I can think is that the manager that we have got lined up next, if there is one, is not available until the summer, and they don't want to rush it. Because I don't think it is going to be Javi Alonso, but let's say it was Javi Alonso, you're going to wait. You are, aren't you? You're going to wait because he's having such a great season with Leverkusen.
Yeah, and he's out of contract in the summer as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I think Javi Alonso will probably go Real Madrid. I think if Ancelotti takes over Brazil, that will be Javi Alonso will go to Real Madrid. That's the dream, obviously. The dream is for him to come in and work under Steeden. But when do things like that ever work out for West Ham?
I think the positive thing is that Steeden identified Javi Alonso, who hadn't really had any big job at that point, as a guy that, you know, can play this sort of the way that we would like to play and the way, you know, likes playing youth and that. So if it ain't Xavi Alonso, you know, hopefully he finds the next one, you know, or the next De Zerbi or, you know, someone like that who will work under a technical director. Yeah. The board has as much to blame. I don't understand the board either. They give him 466 million and he loses money on many signings. Yes, he does, mate. He does indeed. Yeah. So with January approaching, mate, we desperately need a striker. Do you think we will sign him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if we'll go big. And again, it's really difficult because it's the same issue we've seen previously, where the manager's going to have 6 months left on his contract. You're going to be trying to attract players based on the next manager coming in, and that's not an easy thing to do.
No,
so it's really difficult. I could see, it wouldn't surprise me if all we end up doing is a couple of loans to the end of the season, just to try and tie us over a little bit, because of the whole manager situation. Like I say, 6 months left. Players don't want to come for that. There's no guarantee what happens when the next manager comes in. You might come in and then not play for 6 months. It's a real difficult situation, and it's a stupid situation to be in. You should never ever go into the last. I don't think you should ever let the manager go into the last season of his contract because of this exact kind of thing.
No, they've had experience with it, mate. That's the problem. They've had experience of it before, of what happens when you get this situation. Like, you think they'd learn.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Allardyce, and exactly that. You think they learn, and then it's like, where's Moyes' motivation if he knows he's going at the end of the season anyway? Why does he even care? I don't know. It's just not a good situation all round.
Russell Martin, the Southampton manager, would be worth a look, apparently. Let's move on. Let's talk about youth team, mate. You said about Tony Carr, mate. Actually, you sent me something just before we went live. I think he did an event last night, didn't he?
On Friday, yeah. So a good friend Bowden, who's probably in the chat somewhere, he was at the start, sent me this just before. So thanks, mate. I was in a good mood this morning. Got up this morning, had a nice big fry up for breakfast. I was watching like Clubland TV, or some banging tunes on this morning. It was good. I was in a good mood. I was like, yeah, we'll do the podcast now. And then he sent me that just before I started. Like, thanks very much. Yeah. So apparently there was an event, the E13 event on Friday, was set up for Tony Carr to raise money for him to get a season ticket. Because apparently after he was effectively sacked from the club, they only gave him tickets for one season. This is Tony Carr, absolute legend, absolute legend. The man behind some of the best English players this country's seen. Yeah, absolutely insane. And he told a story. Apparently, we should have got Bowden on for this. He could tell it himself because he was actually there. But, apparently he told a story of his last meeting with Brady, and he basically walked in the office and she basically told him, listen, don't even bother sitting down. This won't take long. You're gone. Not enough players are coming through to the first team. We're replacing you. And I mean, I need to be careful.
You have to think who the manager was at the time then as well. It was Allardyce, wasn't it? Probably.
So it's 2016.
That was 16's Slav.
And
just after Bilic, isn't it? Just after Allardyce.
I mean, I've put my thoughts on Brady very clear many times. We don't swear on this channel, so I don't even know how to communicate this without swearing, to be honest. But to treat and this just sums up the club for this period of time. To treat an absolute club legend with that much disrespect, this is like going back to how Bobby Moore was treated, how Billy Bonds was treated. To treat a club legend with so much disrespect, I can't even talk without. I don't. It just, mate. No, I can't believe it.
Disgrace, mate. It's an absolute disgrace.
The day that, and listen, the board across the board, all of the board can't stand any of them. Sullivan, Gold is gone. Sullivan, but Brady's the worst. Brady is the worst. Brady is absolute scum.
Yeah.
And she as Bowden said it, me and Bowden were talking the other day, and he said this. It's as if she has actual disdain for West Ham United fans. She hates West Ham United fans.
Yeah.
And the fact that woman is a woman in charge of our club.
And didn't you say as well, mate, in that message, they basically said you can have a testimonial, but
as long as it don't cost the club any money.
Yeah, what the hell is that? what the hell is that? And then you look at the players that turned up for that: John Terry, Frank Lampard, Rio, Joe Cole, like Anton. All these absolute players that went on that fantastic careers.
Didn't it happen? Was it who else? Was it Collins? Ginge? Was it the same thing with him?
Ginge was treated badly.
Yeah,
by
there
all
you
the
go.
accounts, whatever you think of him, mate, now he's not good enough for West Ham. Now, Aaron Cresswell is going to get treated exactly the same.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a joke. Like, I remember Collins saying that he didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. Like but yeah, it will be a happy day when they're gone, and she's the worst. She's the worst. And like I say, it really, really, really made me angry. Like, again, how can you treat a club legend like that? I mean, I don't know. For what? For what? How much money are they even saving by not putting on a testimonial for him?
Yeah, I can't imagine he was on an absolute fortune either. Like, he's not the manager, so he might have been on 300 grand a year or something like that. Like, yes, a lot of money in real world, but like for football world, it's peanuts.
Yeah, and how much money did he generate for the club? What did he do for the club's reputation? We've got how much and the board as well. We've got it when you walk out of the tunnel. The Academy of Football. They love plastering that all over the place. The Academy of Football. That's because of Tony Carr.
Yeah, 30 million saved the club of Rio Ferdinand money, or 18 million. Sorry, of Rio Ferdinand money. I assume he had quite a big role in the early development of Declan as well. Yeah.
Disgusting. Do you know what did surprise me though was the fact that I wasn't there, so Bone can correct me in the comments here. That they put this event on for him on Friday to raise money for him to get a season ticket. I'm surprised. To be honest, how much do they even know about it? I would have thought that if this gets any traction, I don't know if it will, but if this does get any traction, you'd think some of those ex-players would come out and say, "Don't worry, mate, we've got you."
The thing is as well, like, I've thought recently that what they've been doing with the legends has been a little bit better, yeah. But then when you see little things like this come out, it's not a good look, is it? It's not a good look. Board would rather spend the money, care more about money rather than the football side. Hammerette says Academy is a joke. Where were the youngsters last night? It's true. This leads quite nicely actually to go back to Arsenal. So, okay, mate, we're sitting there going, how dare you treat a legend like this? A legend, Declan. What did you make of that? There was loads of this. You shouldn't boo him. How dare you boo him? You're a disgrace if you boo him. Jason Cundy. If I would have been there, I wouldn't have booed, but I wouldn't have cheered either.
Yeah.
And listen. Go on, mate.
So Declan Rice lifted a trophy, gave us a trophy. He will go down in the history books for that. I don't think Declan Rice is not a West Ham legend in my eyes. He's not.
No, he's a hero. He's a cult hero. He got the club, not a legend.
Yeah, and he was. Let's not try and dismiss it. Declan Rice was incredible for us, incredible, and gave us a trophy. Fantastic. And I think if he'd have gone, funny enough, one of the guys I work with is an Arsenal fan, and he was saying, "Oh, what you don't like him because he's ambitious. If he was ambitious, he would have gone to City.
He would have gone to Man City.
Yeah, if he was ambitious and he wanted to win things, he would have gone to City. I think if he'd have gone to City, it wouldn't be the same feeling against him.
No,
the fact that he went to Arsenal, the fact that he went to Arsenal, a London rival, and it's the whole. Listen, Declan Rice is a brand. He's a very clever man. He's all about Declan Rice, the brand.
Oh, he's media savvy, mate.
Yeah, 100%. And he's all like, exactly. He's an Arsenal player now, and he's going to be kissing the Arsenal badge. And I'm so happy I'm playing for Arsenal. And then when he moves on to the next team, he'll do the same thing to them. And and I don't see any issue whatsoever with the fans booing him. Like I say, if he'd have gone anywhere else, well, I say anywhere else. If he didn't go
Any other,
to,
I think even if he would have went to United, Man United,
it
I
wouldn't have
know
been as
you're,
bad. Yeah, I
I
can't stand Man United.
No, I hate Man United, but it's that London thing. Arsenal sit there and give it all this. You're trying to create a rivalry that's not even there. You went to the stadium with printed tickets saying "Just told your star to Mikel Arteta," but we're the ones who are trying to build a rivalry. We're the ones. Go back in your place.
Listen, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. He's not going to be. He's not going to be the next Frank Lampard. It's not on that. It's not that level. But by what he did, yes, Tony Carr, he did have a testimonial.
But he had to pay for it himself by all accounts.
He had to pay for it. Basically, the club told him that you can have a testimonial as long as it doesn't cost the club anything. Yeah. Declan Rice, would I have booed him? No, I wouldn't. Would I have clapped him? No, I wouldn't. He's nothing to me now.
I think this is a fair point that, the fact that he, after the game, he went round and clapped all corners. He did look quite emotional, actually, in that little bit as well. That's what it is. It is what it is. He's gone now. I don't care.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, mate. That sums it up. He's gone. He doesn't play for West Ham anymore. He plays for Arsenal. He's nothing anymore. He's nothing. Mate, it's a shame because...
a lot more sexier and, beautiful players than him. When Paolo left, heartbroken. We've been there, mate. When Joe Cole's sitting there in a Chelsea shirt, heartbreaking.
Still
absolutely heartbreaking. I'm too old for that now. When a player leaves now, it's like you don't want to be here, you go. If Bowen would have gone, go. I don't care anymore. I fell in love with players too much in the past to do it again. That's with even Kudus and Qatar. Just when I feel myself falling in love with them, I have to reel myself back in. And go, no. 105 £1 million player leaving a little club like West Ham to win trophies after lifting a European Cup, only to get knocked out of the first of 4 possible trophies by none other than West Ham. Yeah, poetic justice, as you say. I don't know what that's meant to say.
End of the day.
End of the day. Oh, I'm proper out of the loop with all this modern language. See? We support West Ham, not players. So even though I don't like Moyes, I support him until he's gone. I don't support him. I support the club. Obviously, we don't want... If Moyes fails, West Ham fail. That's what we always say. It hurts the first time I saw John Pencil.
So Bowden's actually got... I can't even remember how this happened now. He's got John Pansel's phone number. He WhatsApps him all the time.
Yeah, why has he not been on the podcast then? Why have we not had John
come
Pansel
on, sort it out, mate. Get him on the... We want Pansel on the podcast. Yeah, and Bowden can come on and interview him.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So the Arsenal game was brilliant, mate. Great to go through. We got sort of knocked down to earth, didn't we, straight away with the rigged draw that is every year. We ain't got no chance, have we? Let's be honest.
Mate, it's so deflating, isn't it? It's so deflating because you just look at that draw and you just think, well, what was even the point? What was the point?
Yeah. The only thing, mate.
Yeah, the only thing is the games. Yeah,
they've got
the games around it
that weekend. They've got Arsenal, and I think the game before that is Man United. So Man United are capable, especially in that game. The Liverpool-Man United game is always tough, and the fact that they're playing Arsenal, where they could be right up there to win the league, it could play into our hands a little bit.
It could, it could. It could. I mean, you definitely think that they would rotate. This is true. That actually happened. He didn't. I think you rang him about 4 times as well, mate.
He's definitely changed his number.
Yeah, no. The games around it, you would like to think they'll rotate and will obviously take it seriously. So you like to think that it would give us a chance, but then us playing at Anfield, when do we ever have a chance?
Yeah, they've only won there bloody once in 50 years. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't happen. Let's move on because what we've been going for half an hour. Right. Let's talk about Olympiacos, mate. The home tie this week. If we win, we're probably more or less guaranteed second if we win that one. I don't expect David Moyes to make the same mistakes as he did the first time. Paquetá, Pakatabian, Alvarez, Kudus will start. And yeah, I think we'll do them, mate. I think if we would have had our full team out there, we would have done them. What about you?
I agree, 100%. 100%. No way we'll make the same mistake again to take them lightly. It'll be full strength, and I fully expect us to get the win. I think that result hurt Moyes. The fact that backfired, and you could see it in his interviews after the game, and I think he's kind of itching for revenge. I don't think. I don't think we'll lose. I think we'll beat them. I think at home, 100%. I think we win that game.
Yeah, there you go. I think it'll be a tight one, but I think we'll win. And then we'll probably do back at the Palo, and be through. Then I think we're through. I don't think we'll finish third. I know Michael Belli's there saying that we'll be back in the conference. I don't think we finish third in that group. We might finish second, but I don't think we finish third, mate. We need to go full strength on Thursday. We certainly do. Last thing, let's talk about Nottingham Forest, just because we won't talk again until we have had that game. It's a dodge one. It is a dodge one. But when we need to win it, they've got that guy up front. Is his name Aini or something like that? Huge guy, massive. He's a bit like Antonio, really. He scares me. He does. And they've got Alanga, the one they loaned from Man United, or they might have bought him. Mate, anyone who's got a bit of pace against West Ham, we don't know what to do, mate.
Yeah. I'm just looking at in their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, they've only lost to City and Liverpool.
They're not monks, mate. They're not. When I've seen them play, they're quite attacking. They're quite strong and pacey. A bit like Palace. They're a bit like sort of like a Palacey side.
They beat Chelsea, same as us. And then their only loss before that, where they lost. To be fair, when you look at their losses this season, Arsenal, Man United, City, and Liverpool. That's it.
Yeah. Which anyone could lose to at any time.
Yeah, it's not an easy game at all. Not an easy game at all, especially when we're under pressure. And there you go. Yeah, if we concede first, it could be a long day. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good point as well,
though. Yeah, he never loses. He never loses, mate. He never loses them jobs. Not the jobs, them games. Guys, if you've got any questions, put them in. We're going to do about another sort of 10 minutes. I've got one more thing to talk about. I've just seen my notes here that we haven't discussed. With the Forest game, any manager now, if I was playing against West Ham now, I'd say give them the ball because they don't know what to do with it. I'd say just let West Ham have it. We sit for a little while and then break them down. There was a point yesterday in the game, actually, just back to yesterday. Mate, we did not have a Scooby-Doo what to do. Honestly, they just set 4 in front of us and we was like, don't know what to do. Don't know what to do.
We're so desperate. Yeah, we're so desperate to get it on the wing. That's we are so desperate to get it onto the wing, to cross it in. All we do is pass it back and forward, looking for that. Sorry, go on.
Just because we didn't give him any credit, we haven't really spoke about him. Lucas Paquetá in that game, mate. Jesus Christ,
he was having fun, wasn't
he? Mate, it was just a joke, absolute joke. Like the chest, it was the chest, and
they're just catching it.
And then the rainbow flick at the end, mate, that's what West Ham paid money for. Do you know what I mean? That's what we paid.
The thing is, and it's again, I said this last week. Paquetá, the worrying thing is, he's playing like he doesn't care, and because of that, we're seeing these moments where it looks like he's playing on the streets in Brazil, which is incredible for the fans to watch. But I genuinely think the deeper thing behind that is he just doesn't care. Yeah, he's playing for himself, not the team. Do you know what I mean?
Few questions coming through, so keep them coming in, guys. Should we have kept him down? Yes, because he would have played yesterday,
couldn't we?
Yeah, he would have played yesterday, and I didn't think he did much wrong when he did play either. Was Antonio greedy taking that Benny goal? Yes,
we talked about that earlier, and absolute brain dead, moronic idiot.
Yeah,
prat.
Moyes hates the tricks. Never see Benny do them now. No, Benny can be really frustrating, honestly. Tricky Flicky Paqueta, got to love him. He's
Oh, of
like,
course you do. Yeah. Yeah, you love it. You know,
mate,
it's entertainment. You
run
know,
up on those
that's what
players, man.
100%. And you know, it's entertainment, and that's what you want to see. You want to see. I love it. I love seeing that. You know, he's going to get kicked up in the air a few times because he's
Yeah.
proper taking the piss.
He
But
likes himself, mate. He don't mind giving a little dig here and there.
yeah,
He's a
yeah,
nasty one as well.
and it's it's brilliant to see. I love Paqueta. He's what a player. What a
Like I
player.
say, enjoying it. He's another one like Rice
Mm,
last year. Enjoy him because he's gone in the summer. He's
mm,
gone. We'll get good money though. That's a good thing with any player that we've signed recently. You know, they've at least increased in value. You would say
mm.
Paqueta's an 80, 90 million pound player. Kudus, I think, like just from these 5 games, you could say he's a 60, 70 million pound player.
Mm.
You know, yeah. What's this one? Ings, 5 touches, lost the ball and got booked. What the hell was he doing? Mabama must get a chance. Yes.
Let me say this, right? So just on Danny Ings, because I feel like I probably got a bit of criticism earlier. So where I said I understand Moyes using Ings and bringing Ings on because we were playing 2 up top.
Yeah.
Like I say, I understand why he did that, but that was his last chance. Now,
Yeah.
he can't even do it in the 2 up top. Bin him off.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we got in January anyway. Would you prefer to see Bowen as a centre forward with Kudus on the right? Yeah, it worked against Arsenal. I thought Bowen was brilliant. You know, I did have a bit of scepticism against, you know, could he do it? But the pressing and what he does, you know, just sums it all up. We've got an absolute tool in the chat, so let me just block him.
Yeah.
What about you, mate, on that?
What's that, mate? Sorry?
On the Bowen one. The Bowen up front.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm still not. And again, I've said this before. I still think Bowen's better off coming in from the right, but we need to get Bowen and Kudus both on the pitch at the same time. We need to get them both on the pitch at the same time. Antonio,
Pace as well, and it gives us a bit of pace.
Yeah, it gives us some pace. Antonio's dog. Antonio's just useless. So yeah, absolutely. Put Bowen up front, like you say, like we did against Arsenal. Put Bowen up front. Put Kudus on the right. I actually wouldn't even be against seeing Antonio play on the left in that. You know, put Antonio on the left, Bowen up front,
He
and
always
Kudus
drifts
on the
out
right.
there. He always drifts there. We are conceding too many goals. I'm concerned about Ariola's crosses. Yeah, we did talk about that. I want to see the Arsenal lineup Thursday. So do I. I want to see the Arsenal lineup going forward. I don't blame Ings. It's on Moyes. How can the defence be so poor yesterday when we were immense on Wednesday?
I mean, the defence has been awful all season. I think we're probably one of the lowest clean sheets in the league. But again, Arsenal was a fantastic performance. And I said this to you at the time, mate. Arsenal did to us what we did to Olympiacos. They took us for granted. You know, they played a B team.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's probably part of the reason why we look so good. I don't want to take any credit away from what we did and the players that played. We were fantastic. But, you know, if that was Arsenal's first team, let's be realistic, it probably wouldn't happen. You know what I mean?
It would have been a lot tougher match. Where do they park the mobility scooters for Ings and Antonio? Right, let's just come out of the chat. Last bit, mate, was 10%. I wrote down, and that is from Vanessa Gold or Jacqueline Gold. So I do apologise. I know one of them did pass. They've put 10% up, mate, for Sal. What do you make on that?
Don't really change anything. 10% doesn't really mean anything. I would imagine that Sullivan and Krasinski will get first dibs on those if they want them. I would imagine. I mean, it's interesting. I think the only interesting thing is if neither of those two take up that option, that says to me they want out. They don't, you know, if Sullivan don't buy those shares, he probably don't see himself here much longer. Do you know what I mean?
He in the press since that's come out, he's been saying, you know, I'm still here for the long term. Do you think that's just him talking rather than meaning?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. Yeah, because like I say, if he really wanted to, if he really was in it for the long term, he would probably take that option up himself. You know, if Kretinsky don't take it, I don't think Kretinsky will. To be honest, now I feel like Kretinsky's probably just sitting on that, waiting for the club to properly be sold. Yeah. And like someone said there, 10%. It wouldn't surprise me if they split that into quite a few shares and do it that way. I know the likes of oh God, what's his name?
Smith.
Yeah, there's a few sort of tiny shareholders. But yeah, I don't.
Another one who doesn't know what real human beings look like in the chat.
No, I don't think it's too big of a deal, to be honest. We'll see what happens with the shares, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. Just the 10%.
Yeah. Thank you for everyone that's commented today, apart from the 2 people that clearly need to go to hospital and see a doctor. That's it for now. As the D-Ream song goes, things can only get better. Let's hope so, because if it gets any worse, David Moyes will be gone, mate. He'll be out the door. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll maybe be back next week or the week after. Until next time, come on, you irons, hit the like button before you leave and hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Let's go.
Cheers.